as I get the pizza stuff.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Long-Winded One podcast. This is Spoiler Sessions, LitRPG, the only show where spoilers don't spoil anything. We're digging into fan theories, side characters, and the lore office left in the drawer.
All right, well, welcome everybody back to episode 19 of season 6. This is Spoiler Sessions, and with me tonight is my guest, JD Glasscock. He's my friend going back to LitRPG Con from last summer, where we were sitting in the lobby like so many other people, just hanging out with people that love books. And I got a chance to meet JD tonight, or last summer, and then invite him on the podcast to talk about his mini series, but the ones he's probably most well known for are the Nocturne series and the Warborn series. JD, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Hey, I don't know if anyone's here yet. I realized that I had to actually connect to comments.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got to pay attention to comments tonight for sure.
I didn't know that I had to actually it asked me when I clicked over there, it said, oh, you have to actually connect my YouTube to comments.
Oh, yeah.
So I was doing that. Yeah, it's good to be here, man. It's been a while since I've done an interview, but they are fun. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're giving a voice to all the LitRPG authors, especially some of which maybe don't have that avenue to express themselves as much.
Yeah.
So it's a very cool thing. Warborn and Nocturne are my two main series, my active series. I have one I'm about to start, and then another one that I did start just part one as a test bed, Ashes and Ruin, my Comanche one. But this is a big year because Nocturne is finally ending this year. And that was the series that allowed me to go become a full-time author. So I owe 6 more novellas or 2 more novels, and then it's done. So that's going to be a kind of iconic time period. Hence why I started a test bed, the one upcoming, and then the Ashes and Ruin. Why I started just the first novella of those 2 series to get them out there, so that when Nocturne ends, I can throw them full time in with Warborn.
Yeah,
as full-time series.
So you just hit on a bunch of stuff there, man. I first of all love the premise of Ashes and Ruin, the whole Comanche thing, and it's something that's I feel like is not done very much in our genre. So if you get he mentioned that this is what the main character Sparrow was in Comanche territory. Is that right? In Texas. So it kind of
is in 1867, and he gets isekai.
Right. Yeah, no, very cool.
So he dies, and then he gets sucked into, given another chance by the coyote god.
Right. In the spirit warrior type. So JD, before we go on, I want to bring in our special guest tonight, and it was going to be a surprise, but I know you're in tune with the stars, so you know who I'm going to invite in. So this is your.
Well, also because you gave me a blatant hint. Yeah,
I did. All right, so let me just invite him in here.
Mike was trying to act all ninja earlier, and then Jared actually gave me a blatant hint. He said narrator. I said, okay, well, dude, it's either Wayne or it's Mike.
Yeah. So Michael, welcome to the podcast. You are one of the Warborn narrators. Is that correct?
Yeah. This guy is actually the voice of JD Glasscock in LitRPG. So if he's not narrating it, he's in charge, and Fireside Audio is in charge of the person that is narrating it. You know what I mean? So he basically, and he's going to be narrating most of it.
All right. Well, so Michael, I've got we haven't talked before. This is our first time seeing each other. Yeah. So I want to challenge you with I have some questions that I'm going to ask of JD, and this is all about community. I know JD feels the same. So we're going to just feel free to chime in here and riff off each other. But I'm going to challenge you to think of one question that you've never asked JD about Warborn, Okay, so
I was going to say, don't bring up the yellow summer dress, man.
Yeah. Well, so just be thinking about that. And at the end, I'm going to give you both a chance to talk about some exciting things that you both have coming up, anything that you might have coming out. I know JD has at least a couple that he's told me about today that I want to make sure we have time for. And the other thing that I was going to say is, JD, then the last thing that you said, you mentioned some novellas. And you actually came up in a previous episode where we were talking about how some authors have made the shift from these longer LitRPG books to kind of more palatable, more quickly digested books. And frankly, I think that's easier for authors to get their ideas out there too. Did you want to comment on that before we move on?
That's all I do nowadays, really, is novellas to novels. And really the reason is it's, well, there's a lot of reasons, but originally the reason I had done it was Nocturne was my moneymaker, but I needed a break from Nocturne. Like I had just done, I don't know, book 5 or something like that. So 5 novels in a row of the same character, same story. I'm like, dude, my brain needs a cleanser and write something like else. But I didn't want to break up and piss off my fans by writing an entire novel that would take me 2.5-3 months to write. And so I came up with Warborn and said, hey, I'm going to write one novella of this. And it was so funny because I literally still lost something like 30 Patreons because I decided to take 3 weeks and write Warborn Part 1.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I literally, within like me announcing that and finishing up, like, I think it was Nocturne 5, and me finishing Nocturne 5 like a week later, I literally had lost like 30 Patreons that all just bailed. And I'm like, bro, it's going to be like 2.5-3 weeks of me writing something. But I'm like, okay, good on you. Blessings to you. And so then I wrote Warborn 1, and it did well enough. But I said, you know what, I'm going to do that. And then when the first arc of Nocturne ended, and I said, and I was going to do a second arc of Nocturne, I said, you know what, I'm switching up to novellas, and I'm just literally going to do it across the. To me, it's mentally was easier for me to like have a book, even though I'm writing the same amount, and those 3, you know, Warborn first 3 are become a novel. So I'm writing really the same amount. There was something mentally for me to have a book done in 3 weeks and move on, even if it's Warborn part, the next Warborn, for me to move on to that next part and feel I finished something within 3 weeks, as opposed to the grind mentally of 2.5-3 months of seeing no end goal from it, being out on Amazon and selling and all that kind of stuff. It was too much of a grind and drain on me mentally. So I just decided to switch everything from the novellas to novel path. And usually the way I do it, except for what we talked about earlier about the little basically audience check on the new series of just doing one novella and letting them sit out there and see how they go. Normally I do 3 Warborns, Warborn novel, then switch to Nocturne, 3 Nocturnes, Nocturne novel, then switch back and forth between these.
That's a good idea.
The only reason they was feasible though was because of the audience I had built with Nocturne. I think I don't know. I think maybe some authors would struggle if they try to come out of the gate like that. Like come out of the gate with doing 130 page novellas. I don't know. Someone can test that theory if they'd like. I think the only reason I was able to slide by it was because I'd already had 5 or 6 novels of Nocturne out when I decided to do that, and it already developed like 1,400 followers on Amazon. And
well, Michael, let me ask you, how is it for you narrating novellas over the novel lines?
I preferred it. I didn't think I would actually, but yeah, because he's cranking them out as quickly as he can, and it makes, for me anyway, it made it easier for me to kind of schedule them out and get things like, I got to read through it first and then get ready to record it and everything like that. And it just helped like flow into my schedule. Because when I first met JD at LitRPG Con last year, his concern was not wanting to get a book, his book done, and then it's like a year later for it to get put into Audible. I'm like, I think we can work around that. Oh, it didn't quite work out as well as planned.
I'm gonna say no comment.
yeah. I got sick.
No, that's not really on Mike. It's not so much on Mike with that, but they're doing great. Fireside, like I said, I have committed to Fireside, and that's because of Mike. Like if Mike wasn't on Fireside, then I wouldn't be with Fireside. So Mike to me is the voice of all of my stuff. Yeah. Even if he's not narrating, he's the one that's picking who's narrating and making sure that they stay on task. He from here until I croak, which I guess could be next week, but he'll be the voice of JD Glasscock as far as audibles in my novels.
That's awesome, man. And I feel like I could talk about this because there are authors who actually do that staggered release as a part of their sort of plan, right? They do like the physical copies and the ebooks, and then they let some time pass, and then they do the audiobooks. So anyway, I could talk about this all night, but
no one could actually keep up with what I'm doing, like novellas and stuff like that, like literally. And I'm doing multiple series, and they're doing all of them. So I mean, like literally, it's like I'm a little slow this month because I was working on the SEOs and music, but I literally still came out with 1 or 2 last month, and then really literally 2 this month because I came out with the third part of Warborn, the next 3, and then the Warborn novel, which literally there's separate series on Amazon, so they're literally like they almost have different fan bases. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's literally 2 more books this month. There's no way a narrator,
especially if you're only
what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So
makes sense. All right. Well, listen, I would just keep jabbering here, but I'm going to focus us on the spoiler sessions. So I'm going to take us first to Nocturne, but I'd love you to, if you could give a kind of a 10,000 foot view of Nocturne before we get into the questions, just so in case people who are tuning in, and again, all of these episodes are different. I've had 20 people online live, and then sometimes I've had, most of these episodes people tune in after the fact. So we're going to have comments and things after the fact, but let's give, if in case somebody's tuning in that has never done.
I don't know. I don't see anyone, but I don't know how this really works.
So if you could just talk about Nocturne very quickly, and then we'll
Nocturne. So I'll go real quick. Okay. My first 8 books, and I've told this to a lot of people, my first 8 books didn't sell shit. That was 3 different series. I had to learn how to let the series go. I did 5 of the first series. None of them sold. I was like, I can't just keep writing. There was more books in it, but I'm like, I can't keep writing a series that isn't selling. So I tried a second one, did 2 books of that, neither sold, put that one to the side. I did a third one, wrote 1 book of that, the superhero one. That didn't sell. I put it to the side. And then I decided to finally listen to people that have been telling me since the beginning, write to market. And that doesn't mean copy someone. That means just take whatever themes are popular in the genre you're trying to write and then do your version of it. So I finally listened to that. I wrote Nocturne because I mostly read Primal Hunter and Defiance of the Fall and stuff like that. So big, grandiose, gods everywhere, post-apocalyptic, that kind of LitRPG. So I wrote Nocturne 1. It's about a Gideon show, ex-military, ex-FBI, and then because he wants to decide that he wants to refuses to shuffle underneath the carpet that some high-end politician got caught in a trafficking ring that they were trying to groom to run for president. So they literally, it's kind of funny because I wrote this way before.
I know it sounds like the
now.
Right now or...
I know it's kind of. I wrote it like a couple years ago, way before any of this was going on. But basically, they tell him to like ignore that he caught this guy and that was who was behind the trafficking ring that had been investigated for several years. And he refuses. So they ended up sending a hit squad. He escapes, kills the hit squad, then goes through a year and a half of basically killing and dismantling the entire structure of the trafficking ring from the bottom up. And right as he's about second to the top, that guy is now running for president and is leading. But at the second to the top, his biggest financier, he's in a hotel ready to kill him when all of a sudden system initializes. And next thing you know, he's in a tutorial. And everyone from Earth, basically in this world, the system basically takes multiple planets, meshes them together, takes all the population, throws them in tutorials while that's happening, meshes the 3 planets into 1 planet, which ends up being Erebus.
Erebus, yeah. Yep.
And then basically, a bunch of the population is killed off in the tutorials. And then Gideon meets Lasana there, comes out, and he also does, right out of the gate, he again shows who he is in giving a shit about other people, even though he's kind of this hard-ass solo. He was raised by 2 parents that like taught him honor and taught him like do the right thing. And so he saves the people called the Shador. That he makes a deal with the system to give up all their main treasures in the tutorial to free the Shador from the tutorial, not have to be put back to their own world where they're slaves. So there you go. There's the beginning.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned 2 characters that we're going to talk about, but there's a third that you didn't mention. Do you want to talk? Yeah. Do you want to talk? Well, how about I just ask the first question and maybe some of this will come out of this. All right. So Shira is another character. And this is where the spoiler session comes in. Okay. So question 1 for Nocturne is, you said that the best scene that you'd ever written was Shira and the leap. Okay. And you'll describe to us what that is. What is it about that scene that makes it stand out above
well,
all
when you
other
talked to me earlier, it's the same thing. Like I'm very from the hip. There's some overplotting that I do ahead of time. Like these things need to happen in this book, but the rest of it, I'm making it up as I go. So I was writing a fight scene, and I'd already portrayed Shira, who's like 5, and she didn't even have a class. She's not even in the system yet. Or she's not, like 4 or 5. And I've already portrayed her as this little firebrand who already watched her parents die or her mom get killed in the tutorial. She's a Shador, one of the Shador. And Gideon and Lasana had already they hadn't adopted her by then, but they had kind of taken her in and acted like she was their child because she was such a little Spitfire, and family was everything to her. Mm-hmm. And so I'd already written the battle, and I'd already made it so that the battle, the last of the monster wave trial, in this second trial, it was like a acidic alpha wyvern. So the wyvern literally it spits acid, but its entire body is also secreting acid. So it was kicking all their asses, Gideon, Lasana, all their elites. It was kicking their asses, and it had already gotten all the way up to the fortress. They had Shira hiding in the fortress along with all the other children. Shira, being Shira, had already escaped from the Guardians so she could make sure her family was good. She was on a balcony overlooking it, and all she had was a tiny little knife that Gideon had given her that wasn't powerful, that wasn't anything. And you did something right and I think I told you this earlier, was in the midst of writing this next part I'm about to describe, and for quite a while afterwards, I was literally crying. And I'm not a big crier. Like, I don't cry in life. I cry in a good book or a good movie. You know what I mean? That's where I'll get teary-eyed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, next thing I know, it was just flowing and flowing. And I had her, at first, I was just going to have her come and on the open balcony on the second floor, looking above down onto the wyvern and the fight. But then I'm realizing the way the fight was happening is they were all getting their asses kicked. And Lasana and Ari and all of them were like severely injured. And then when Shira sees that, I decided to write it. I'm just going to have her leap. And so she literally leaps off the second floor onto like a 30-foot, a wyvern that's tall enough that it's like barely below the second floor.
Yeah. And
she's crying out, "You're not going to take my family." Because her history is.
I got goosebumps, man.
They were slaughtered.
Yeah.
So this little 5-year-old with this little knife leaps on top of the wyvern, starts trying to hit it with her little knife, but all the acid in the meantime is like literally killing her. So a bunch of it splashes across half her face. Her face is melting, but she's still stab with a little knife.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And then Gideon sees it and goes ballistic. And he obliterates the alpha, but ends up cracking his core to do it. Because he basically uses a power that he doesn't even really have yet, utilizing power that he found in a dream through the fortress itself.
Yeah,
and then through his spear scald, he basically fires a tricolored lightning bolt down into the wyvern and obliterating it. And right before that, Shira had gotten tossed by the wyvern. So she was flying in midair as he's doing that. And Ari, who's the little lunar dragonling, it's like basically the familiar of Lasana, flies through the air, injured herself to catch Shira, and Shira's like half her face is literally like melted. And in my world, the system will heal you. You can heal, but it never lets you heal scars.
Yeah, that's good.
Or if you lose an arm, you're never going to grow that arm back. And so it's a very big narrative point for the rest of the series that she literally is so embarrassed because kids make fun of her because half of her face is like acidic scarred.
Yeah.
And Gideon ends up making a magical, really powerful growth item half mask with symbols of the moon that covers that half of her face for him.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh man. Well, you're the most easy interview ever because you actually like pre-covered some of my other questions, and I'm gonna switch us now because we've been chatting for about 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna switch us to the Warborn, just so Michael and JD can kind of go back and forth.
Let Mike talk for a second, man. I'm for Warborn.
No, it's all good. And well, I'll leave it open to either of you to describe this series, right? So let's give the listeners.
Well, he's more familiar with Warborn because he actually did it from the get-go, so it's red. Where Nocturne, he came in at 8? Like book 7. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So Warborn, he could tell you about Warborn.
Tell me, Michael.
All right. Well, Warborn starts off with Jebediah Stone and his dog Bose, and Jebediah he's
an older guy, right? He's an older guy, right?
Yeah, older guy. I don't remember.
52.
50. Did we give the age? Okay. He's retired, living up in the Ozarks, away from people, and he's getting ready to feed Bose for the day when he starts hearing a voice system messages are popping up. He thinks it's his PTSD kicking in, and telling him he's got 20 minutes to get everything he can and go jump in the ring of light that he sees because he's been selected to fight in the Crucible of War, which is basically a giant floating asteroid with three different cities on it. A big endless. Was it?
8 different cities.
8. Okay.
8, yeah.
With a big endless dungeon all out through it, and then of course there's instance dungeons here and there that pop up randomly, and so he, the voice turns out to be his manager later on, a gremlin named Bogey, and tells him, "Don't bring the damn dog, but get weapons." And Jeb's like, "No, that's just not going to fly." So he takes the dog, his dog with him, and they pop in, and he starts going through his tutorial. Starts
He didn't really have a tutorial. He was
supposed
to go to the tutorial.
He got hijacked from it,
and he gets hijacked by a bunch of greedy tech guys, gnomes, 2 tech gnomes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not done with yet. No. And that try to basically, they basically 50,000 humans get sucked in there. They hijack 50 of them and shove them, instead of a tutorial where they have to learn slowly and go, shoves them into the endless dungeon in the middle of the Crucible of War, which has got these uber powerful beasts in it, so that they can videotape them dying and sell it on the black market and make money. And you got to understand, so the Crucible of War is basically a Roman Colosseum for this galactic empire to keep their populace unthinking and not rebelling. So it's basically televised and been going on for eons and eons. They take upcoming planets that are the system. They're basically sucking behind the system. The system goes and initiates new planets. Somehow the Empire figures out what they're doing and follows behind and basically hijacks these people, rips the resources from those planets, and then takes people every time they're low, every few hundred years when they have 1 million people on this asteroid that provide all the entertainment in 8 cities, each with their own races and thematics. Like Jeb lands in Blood City. There's also City of Splendors, City of Fools, City of Dreams. Eight City of Splendor. There's 8 different cities. City of Tombs, and each city has their own races. So basically, anytime a city gets low on population, they basically go steal 50,000 people from a new planet and shove them in there.
Yeah.
And the humans got chosen this time. But so he gets separated from the humans. The humans are going to be in a tutorial for a couple weeks, but he immediately shoved into the Crucible of War, and he has to survive.
Yeah.
Luckily, he had Bogey, the gremlin. So the top tier percent of the 50,000 managers bid to be their manager because they can make deals, endorsement deals, all that stuff with the TV. So all of this is televised 24/7 and shot out. Each city has its own little heroes and villains and little side channels and
Actions. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's televised out, like basically the same concept of Roman Colosseum, or same concept as our current country, where they use media to keep people kind of not thinking deeply. You know what I mean? And so they're entertained. If they're entertained, they're not really like thinking about why the assholes all have all the money at the top. You know what I mean?
So Peter asks in chat, what was the inspiration for the checkered past? Why did you decide to give him the problematic past?
I think with all my stories, I start with the character, and then I build out the story and the world and all that stuff. So, I had a friend that had PTSD a long time ago. They was ex-military, retired military, and I had never really dug into that. And so I said that would just make an insane character. This guy is a retired master sergeant of the Army that did some horrible things, which you literally don't even find out about until like part 3 or part 4. One of those, part 3 or part 4. He has all these little tidbit flashbacks. You get hints. But basically, he did something horrible. They gave him PTSD, and they would have court-martialed him, but it was so bad they didn't want the media, so they did. I forget what it is. It's that where they basically court-martial you without you keep partial pension, and it's like I forget the terminology, man. I'd have to look. I wrote that book one like a while ago, and then I thought it would create a dynamic character. I thought it would create. That's the reason he has bows, which is a big king. Cane Corso, is that
Cane Corso? We learned that.
Yeah. Okay. So Cane Corso, if you know what that breed is, it's a huge ass dog.
Oh yeah.
And that's bows. And the reason he had gotten bows was because his attacks, PTSD attacks, were nonstop, and he couldn't even function. He went to the Ozark to be away from people, so he could even somewhat function. He got bows to help him, and Bose did. He in the couple years that he'd had Bose, he had gotten a lot better, but not better. He'd gotten, instead of attacks every day, it was like only when he was high stressing or
and Bose was able to pull him out of the
long
attacks.
story, but we don't have time for me to dig into all of it.
Yeah.
Well, so Peter says, I love that he's not the perfect hero. And so Peter and Dennis are both here.
No, nor does he think he is, dude. He's kind of a ex-army, retired army, hard-ass master sergeant that literally is straight up with his bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So guys, thanks for being here. Peter and Dennis, thanks for being here. You guys have great stuff going on your TikTok channels. So I encourage people to go check out Peter
the music.
and Dennis.
I wanted to say something really quick about
we're not done yet, JD. Okay. Michael's got a question for you. I tasked Michael with thinking of a question, if you have one, that he's never asked you about the series. You have something, Michael?
Yeah, I came up with one. We're talking about Bose, his dog.
Don't ask me the origins of Glasscock, bro.
No. No, we're stay away from there. Bose. So when I first started recording it, I was just pronouncing it as Bose, like the speakers, right? And luckily JD was in TikTok land while I started, like in the first chapter, and corrected me as Bose, like a dose.
Yes,
so but why where did you come with Bose and not Bose or Bose? Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how do you come up with any names, man? I was creating the dog and just said, "Oh, Bose, that sounds good." I mean, in almost every single one of my series, not all of them, but I would say about half of them have like an animal companion. Because I'm a dog guy, I'm an animal guy, and they provide comedic relief in certain ways. You know what I mean? So this is probably my least comedic. I mean, none of my series are DCC, dude, but this is probably my most serious, least comedic of my series. But I don't know how comedic you can get when you're literally the main character is dealing with PTSD and like, you know, it's not really, you know, Gideon's show. I had Lasana and Princess Arzel that provide most of the humor along with Freddie. You know what I mean? So with this, I didn't really have any characters that were coming off the bat that I could use as that kind of foil. But I thought it worked for what this series was. But Bose, I love that breed. They're just too big for me.
Yeah.
But they're beautiful, beautiful dogs. And from anyone I know that knows them, they're like big teddy bears. They just love their family so much. They're like my pity. You know what I mean? Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't hear you, Jerry.
I was trying to call my dog over here for you so you could see. I got a big Great Dane here.
Oh man.
Yeah, see that's I live in a small apartment, so I can't. I have Jen, who is about 52 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's about as big as I can get. But we're about out of time, and I wanted to do the music. That was an important thing for me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so a lot of people wonder why I just came out with, you know, I got 7 albums coming out. It's not me singing. I just wrote, produced, and wrote everything, produced it, and basic melody lines, all that stuff. So in the I started in the early 90s as a slam poet and then started writing songs. And then by 96, around there, I met a guy named Eric Weber, and most people, including me, knew him as Bass Man, and then you can guess what instrument he played. So me and him immediately hooked up, and we started my first really and only band, Sofa King, in Southern California, which is where I was living at the time. And this was coinciding me when I was competing in the National Slam Team poetry shit. So we did it for a couple years, then in Southern Cal with a couple guys. Then, for various reasons, in 97, end of 96, 97, I think, me and him moved to Seattle, Washington to do the band up there. Went to open mics, added a couple more players, all that. And we ended up all together almost a decade in that band before in like early 2004, 2005. The band ended and I shifted to film and then writing film, and then in 2009 moved to LA to actually pursue film, like shot a bunch of shorts, all that stuff. Anyway, 4 years ago, so I moved to Texas a decade ago. So I haven't been in Seattle since the time reference I just gave you. But I still periodically stayed in touch with those guys. They all still played together. The other 3, the guitarist, bass, drummer, played together in Seattle. 4 years ago, I find out from my ex-drummer Jeff, that Bassman was 2 days away from passing, that he was terminal cancer, that he was croaking. And he couldn't even talk at that point. He was in the hospital or whatever. So a couple days after he passes, he tells me that the last 2 weeks of his life, all he did was play an old garage tape of our song Peace Pipe over and over and over again with his wife sitting next to him in the hospital, over and over, nonstop, 24 hours a day of this song that we did. That was one of the first songs me and him ever created before we'd even moved up to Seattle. So that was back 96, 97. So at the time when that happened, 4 years ago, we decided to do this little EP tribute for where they're there, I'm here. So we couldn't really do songs because I couldn't go and actually like work a song out. So I ended up instead doing like 4 or 5 spoken word pieces that I then sent to them. And then they put music underneath it and even used some old recordings of his bass and put it underneath there. It was very cool. But a couple years ago, Jeff then went on to relay that he had gotten a letter that was written on the deathbed that said, hey, tell JD and both of you guys to get this song out as much as possible, blah, 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 blah. Peace Pipe. I don't know why he was so fixated on Peace Pipe, but he was very fixated on that song. But he was saying, get it out, get it out, get it out. So I had an epiphany a year ago and said, oh my God, even though I quit music, I always periodically would still write poetry and lyrics, And so I had 36 years of songs sitting on a shelf doing fucking nothing.
Got to stick them in your stories, man.
And because of what was going on with him, I just had this emotional moment where I said, I'm not doing justice to what this man spent his last 2 weeks of his life loving, which was those days in my songs and music and stuff like that. And so hence that is the reason why I took 100 songs with other 5 vocalists, because I learned through that band, I suck at singing. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very skilled as a lyricist. I'm very skilled as an arranger. I'm very skilled as like coming up with really cool bass melodies. But I have like a half octave range and suck at singing. So we took 5 vocalists, and I created 7 albums that are coming out. 2 are out now, another 5, 1 each month. Now I'm pretty much done because that was the entire goal of it. That's why the 7th album is called The Last Broadcast, because that was literally, I'm too busy with, we're trying to get my first feature film funded. We're just about to start doing that. And then the books and stuff like that. Like I really do not have time. But it was a mission for me to get out those 36 years of songs in his honor and get it out there. Plus to leave a legacy for my, I don't have kids, but my little sister has kids, my brother-in-law, who's my business partner, and my mom, to leave a legacy behind me that, you know what I mean? That even if it's not a lot of money, it's still bringing money in for them. You know what I mean?
Man.
So
you're a Renaissance man, JD. That's impressive. And I definitely, I think a lot of people can empathize with that desire to put their original stuff out into the world. Right. As the, I don't know about you, Mike, but I certainly feel it.
I do. I mean, as I play bass actually in an original band. And so to be able to put original music out, and especially like he can just do that as easily as he's doing, writing it and cranking it out. I mean, I wish I could do the same, but
no, I mean, majority of those songs are from like the 90s, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and then some are from the last, whatever, decade and a half. But when I stopped doing music, it was more like I would write a couple songs a year, as opposed to when you're in a band and you're the singer-songwriter, you're literally like, you're writing one every week. You know what I mean? Like, because you're practicing like 3 times a week. You know what I mean? So,
well, JD, my Marty says, and I've left it up here on the screen so you could see it, I have really enjoyed hearing your music on TikTok.
Thank you. I appreciate you very much. So I hope it affects and helps a lot of people. I tend to write, I write everything, usually has depth and messages, and I write occasional Birdman songs, but most of the songs have actual like depth and tackling some hard subjects or all those kind of things. I always felt like there should be depth in everything you do in one way or another. It doesn't matter what medium you're using. And I write Grimdark and Dark Noir, no matter what medium I'm doing, whether it's music, whether it's novels, whether it's film, whether it's...
All right, well, hold on to that thought, JD. So here's what we're going to do now. With our last remaining minutes, we're going to talk about what you guys have coming out. JD, you told me about 2 of them today.
The Wonderland,
Yeah, exactly. And then, but let's start with Michael. Michael, tell us what you have going on, where we can find you online. And
tell him about the big bear and the tattoos, bro.
So yeah,
that guy was so manly.
Narrate, I narrate a couple different genres of all types, and I mean, a lot of my stuff is there's a lot of romance stuff out there.
Sure.
You can find me on Audible. You got to look up under my full name, Michael Norman Johnson, because I have the second most common name in the country. So I have to throw the middle name in there to kind of separate that. But yeah, TikTok, I do most of my recording when I have permission to live. So you can come in there and hang out. You can meet the two.
I don't remember you asking me for permission to do Warborn.
Well, when I've got the audio rights, I didn't need to.
Oh, was that in the fine print?
It might have been. I don't know. Yeah. So primarily that's where I'm active on is TikTok. I mean, I've got Facebook and Instagram, but I'm terrible with social media postings. But coming up, actually, we just uploaded the next Nocturne book. So once A6 does their little Q&A thing, it should be coming out shortly. And then following that, yeah, the big bear. There's some male bear.
So sexy. You should see that cover, dude. Big old guy, big bear, the title, tattoos on his chest with an open vest. And I popped into TikTok right onto that image in my face, and him like in a husky voice talking sweet talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, going, holy fuck. Wonderland. I just fucking pop into there.
It's funny as I'm currently at a romance book event. We wrapped it up today. As soon as it's done, I'm packing up and getting ready to 12-hour drive back to Chicagoland. So yeah, but yeah, that was this weekend was all about that.
That's awesome, man. Well, we thank you for being here with us tonight in the middle of your schedule.
Yeah.
Well, and thanks for coming kind of last minute. I pinged you this morning and you're like, heck yeah, I wouldn't miss it. So
yeah, well,
yeah, Dennis said he was supposed to come, and then he said, oh, but it's for JD. Fuck that guy.
My web manager saw the email. He's like, I'm not sure this is legit or not. And I think maybe because it was JD's last name that threw him off. Yeah. I go, no, that's real.
Yeah, dude, after 55 years, you think I would be over that by now, but it still annoys me.
Yeah,
Dennis says that's exactly what I said. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Dennis is actually starting this Wednesday going to be teaching a new kung fu that mixes jazz and the Matrix. Man, it's going to be amazing.
Jazz and the Matrix, huh? What do we call that martial art?
It's called Denarushko.
Jazz hands. Well, JD, tell us what you got going on. You have something.
Okay, so I have a lot, but you know what I mean. But so right now, Warborn 9 and Book 3 of Warborn, which Mike just got, I just literally sent him those files, like is at Amazon, arriving on the 1st. So Book 3, which has 7, 8, and 9 novellas in it, and then novella 9 are going to be landing at the exact same time. Then I will be starting something that I literally put this way. This is the first time I've ever done that. Nocturne has how many books in it? Its World Bible is maybe 230 pages after like 8 books. I haven't even written anything in this book yet, and it has a 350-page Bible.
Yeah. So
put it that way, okay? So when I was a kid, I was a loner. We've already established that. Most people know that. Wonderland affected me heavily as a child, whose father had left when I was young, and you know, all that idiosyncrasies that go along with that. Wonderland and the whole weird ass world it had really, for some reason, toned into my bones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated with it. If people listen to the music, they'll hear at least 2 songs that are like all Wonderland reference. So I decided that I want to finally fulfill that dream of playing in Wonderland in my own version, because it's literally a public commodity. It's been so long that it's literally anybody can write in Wonderland. Yeah. Same thing like Wizard of Oz and like Wicked. You know what I mean? Wicked, that's a public commodity. That author just wrote in Wizard of Oz. So, and I write LitRPG and I write Grimdark. So I decided to write because I hadn't done it yet, steampunk Victorian Grimdark LitRPG version of Wonderland called Wonderland Shattered Glass is the name of the series.
Ooh,
and then the Dream, the part 1, I believe, is called The Nightmare That Never Ends. And so you can go, it's up for pre-order. You can go look at the blurb. But it's basically, the main premise is Lewis Carroll lied.
Nice. Well, I would think, don't you think that Wonderland may be like the first Portal fantasy? Like, could be the birth of
yeah, I mean,
Isekai?
it's pretty up there. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere in the world someone did it before that, but probably the most well-known first Portal fantasy.
I didn't know I needed this.
And I know that's not really his name, but I really don't feel like trying to remember his actual name. He was a big like mathematician or something like that. They taught at school, so he didn't want anybody to know he had written this whimsical little story. So he came up with Lewis Carroll to write the story. But it's just such an amazing world, and you're going to see icons. Now, this takes place about 200 years in the future on Earth, but only 20 years or 25 years in the future in Wonderland. Okay, because there's a time differential.
Yep.
So, and put it this way, Alice, when this character gets in there, Alice had basically 20 years earlier killed the Red Queen. And so this new character, who ends up being a very long descendant of one of, because Lewis Carroll had like multiple sisters and stuff like that. So it's long descendant, like great nephew of Lewis Carroll. So when he gets in there, he's basically moving into the real Wonderland, not the whimsy version. 20 years after Alice has killed the Red Queen, and what that Wonderland looks like.
Oh, that's badass, man.
And so it's ruled by like 4 gangs: the clubs, the diamonds, the spades, and the hearts. And you got orcs in there, you got all that stuff, but all systemized and steampunkized and Wonderlandized. And then you have all the some of the iconic characters were killed, like the Marcher was killed in the war between Alice and them, whatever. But you have the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, the White Rabbit, the Mouse, like several, the Caterpillar, who's like a drug dealer.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? So you have all those iconic characters. And then you have the main character is Corvin Wren. And then he does immediately meet someone that is kind of like half bitch and half sad girl. And her, she's a little green goblin named Daffodil, and that she hates anyone that actually calls her that.
Oh man,
because it was like a joke for her dad to call her Daffodil. But,
I love the name Corvin Wren. That's the
crow thing.
Yeah, exactly.
From the audiobook for it, I'll be narrating, and
he will be narrating it.
We'll have to,
this is my plan. I plan on that being the series that takes over for Nocturne.
Yeah. We haven't picked. We're going to do a duet style, which means we'll have a female narrator reading female parts, characters and whatnot. But we haven't chosen her just yet.
So I've gotten a chance to work with several female narrators. So Mike, let's talk.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, send me some recs.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I should have known better than to just do 30 minutes with JD. But I think I could listen.
This is like I put my tippy toe in, man.
That's right. I know.
And then you guys, just a shout out for Fireside and Mike. They're basically on the rise. They're going to try to do eventually work their way up into doing stuff that Sound Booth does. And they would love more LitRPG authors. So if you're open to it, and they have many plans, many different avenues with which you can make it work fiscally, depending and how you want to do it. They are open to many different avenues.
Yeah. We got
hit them up. They are a subsidiary of Pink Flamingo, right?
Yeah, Pink Flamingo Productions is like the parent company,
which is a massive romance.
Yeah, we started off as a romance company and then started getting into the other genres, but we didn't want to market a sci-fi military book with, the male
with the big bear. With the big bear.
So
you
got other divisions, Fireside Audio,
big bear.
Northern Lake Audio. Northern Lake Audio kind of handles nonfiction stuff and YA, things like that. But yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, both of you, thank you again, and I'm looking forward to all the stuff you guys have coming out.
Hey, tomorrow starts Wonderland, baby. Tomorrow starts Wonderland.
Nice.
Before the end of April, you will have part 1 of Wonderland Shattered Glass. I'm only putting out part 1 because my promise to Nocturne fans is to knock Nocturne out, and I owe 6 more novellas to Nocturne. So Wonderland will have to be in another one in between the 2 main series until Nocturne is knocked out, and then Wonderland will go into a full 3, then switch, 3, then switch.
Gotcha.
But before the end of April, baby, Wonderland, Corvin Wren, Daffodil, the White Rabbit, all sorts of shit's coming your way.
Nice, man. Well, we got 15 weeks until we see everybody in person at LitRPG Con. And next weekend on Saturday, it's a change for me. We'll have Michael Chatfield here.
Michael's a nice guy.
Yeah. On spoiler sessions. But until then, we'll see you all. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Blessings. Big love to you. And remember, always keep dreaming and believing.
All right.